So, everyone, this is a cool story. I'm just going to bring up now for all of those out there listening that are going, oh, it's maybe too late to start this sort of stuff and get on top of your finances and where you are. I've got Patrice with me now, who I'm just going to talk to for a few minutes around experience with working with me and a few other questions I've got. But welcome, Patrice. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. So, Patricia, you've been with us, working with me in the program since about February 24, around that sort of time frame, I think. And so at that
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and then so at that time when you joined, some of the things that were important to you was obviously, looking at your financial position and what some changes you could make, and also I think what was high on your agenda was trying to maybe guide your son a little bit into the financial world and things like that. So it's a little over 6 months that you've been, with me. So just tell me a little bit about where you were at that time of joining those. So, what were your feelings around debt? And I think you've owned property for a little while and stuff like that. But, what sort of worries were keeping you up at night? What were you thinking about at the time?
Well, the biggest thing on my mind was the prospect of retirement, which is looming up pretty quickly. And I really felt like I was just treading water when it came to my finances. So I had a small mortgage, and like I was paying more money off it. As you do, you fix yourself in, and I was paying more into my fixed mortgages, which I had no access to that money, but I was not really seeing any significant reduction in the mortgage, and I was starting to panic a little bit, so close to retirement.
Yeah, which is pretty common, right? Like a lot of people will be in that sort of space. And so, what do you think? What's the key insights you've got from the program that's kind of, shifted your mindset around, debt and your position? Like, what have you got anything specific you can give me around that?
Um, Probably just taking a real critical look at my finances and realizing just how much money I was like literally wasting on a daily basis.
Yep.
And also and that just made me become more mindful of my spending and my wants versus my needs,
Yeah.
basically. And also seeing greater and faster gains once I had, restructured that finance and got some sort of control over it.
Okay. Yeah, that makes and so you know, what was the emotive stuff going on at the time when you started versus where you're at now? Like what, like are you feeling like you're much happier, I guess, at the end of the
Oh,
day?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling more relaxed and optimistic
Yep.
now when I think of retirement.
Mm.
And also, I feel that my money's working better for me. I can see gains much faster than I was, and I just feel a little bit more in control. Well, actually, quite a
Yeah.
lot more in control.
Which is excellent, which is really, really good. And so, so what would you say if someone was considering working with me? How do you think that might actually positively impact them? Would any insight on that?
I'd highly recommend it. It's something that I wish that I'd known about 40 years ago,
Mm.
to be fair. But so it doesn't really matter how old or how young you are. Like, obviously, if
Mm.
you're younger, you're going to have greater gains. But even when you're older, there's something to be taken from it. Like
Yeah.
I've taken a lot from it, and I've had a mortgage for like 40 odd years.
And so just Philip, what's something that's happened that's really cool that's actually transpired since you started? So just fill us in around that.
Well, I've just in the short 6 months, I've helped my son get into his first home. And that we've gone halves. I've given him half the deposit for his home,
Mhm.
which has been such a great thing for me. That's something that I always wanted to do, but I would never have had the confidence to be able to do that before I started this program. And yeah, and so that's something that's enjoyable for me. And the other thing is I'm just more optimistic about my retirement. So I'm hatching a plan. Instead of retiring in like 2.5 years, I've now got a goal in the next 5 to 7 years, and that will just make things a whole lot better for me.
Yeah, which is amazing. And so you've kind of gone and created a potential income stream there as well. with your son. And how's your son feeling about prospects here too? Because I guess at the end of the day, there's some stuff you can teach him as well. Because if you were to go back and talk to your 21-year-old self again,
Um,
what would you do? You know? So yeah, yeah.
it's definitely been beneficial for him as well because like I've taught him, what I learned and, set things up well for him as well. So yeah, so now we have a plan also for him.
Mm.
And, yeah, the future's looking good.
So you kind of smashed that goal within like I said, in about 6 months. So you don't give up there. So what have you got anything on the horizon? Like any sort of new goals you're trying to reset for yourself? Mm.
Well, within the next 5 to 7 years, I'll be looking more at my investments, like what sort of investment I'm going to have, and diversifying. Will probably, get more property, maybe.
Yeah.
The goal
Yeah.
is either to get more property or make some sort of investment that will secure our retirement.
That's amazing. So I guess in summary to what we've just talked about tonight, I mean, obviously, you can confirm by joining and following what I teach that the turnaround's been relatively quick from the position you're in before, and you're much more confident, I'd say, about prospects of retirement and what's kind of on the cards versus not doing something about it. Is that fair?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would definitely say that. And it's just satisfying, knowing how much smarter your money's working for you. Like
Mm,
it's you don't have to do more, and you also don't. I found that I don't have to compromise my lifestyle at all.
mm.
So it's not like you're going without, and it's just working smarter.
Yep. And you would say you don't need an economics degree to work this out. It's pretty simple.
No, definitely not. It is quite simple, and literally, you teach not only the basics of it and the structure of it, but it's a step by step. So yeah, I believe anyone could do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, well, look, Patrice, thank you so much for your time. This is so valuable. People will love to hear just a little snippet of your story. So I'm really grateful for that. Thank you for joining me.